What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I will be talking about what most men don't want to hear in their 20s. The man who sacrifices his 20s always wins. And before you click off thinking that this is some don't have fun video, relax. This is about freedom, real freedom. Now let me ask you a question. There are two men. Man number one spends his 20s chasing experiences, trips, festivals, clubs, girls, weekends that blur together. He says yes to everything. He lives in the moment. Man number two spends his 20s building. He skips trips. He leaves early. He works on weekends. He says no more than he says yes. He invests in skills. He invests in his health. He's focused on making money, and he's focused on the people around him. Now pause. Who is actually free? Because both of them think that they are free. The first guy feels free at 22 and the second guy feels restricted at 22. But what about 32? That's where the story flips. At 22, partying feels like freedom, and at 32, not having options feels like a cage. And that's the part that no one talks about. You see, in your early 20s, time feels infinite. You think, I'll figure things out later. I've got years. And you say things to yourself like, let me just enjoy life. But the truth is that life compounds, just like money. If you invest early, it multiplies. And if you delay, you pay. Now think about it. If you're 23, your friends plan a trip. It costs £1,500 or US dollars. You've got two options. Go invest that money into something that grows you. Yes, I know that the trip will give you memories, but investing gives you leverage. Memories feel good instantly, and leverage feels boring instantly. But leverage pays you back forever. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Most men confuse stimulation with freedom. Clubs, women, alcohol, travel, and attention. That's stimulation. Freedom is different. Freedom is waking up and not worrying about rent, choosing where you can live, choosing the people you can work with, walking away from disrespect, and taking care of your family without stress. That type of freedom costs discipline early, and discipline in your 20s sounds unfair because everyone around you is having fun. You open Instagram, you see the holidays, you see the designer clothes, you see the VIP sections, you see the couple goals. What I'm trying to say is that you see people living their best lives. But here's the reality. Most of that lifestyle is rented. Leased cars, credit card trips, debt-funded experiences, and paycheck to paycheck flexing. Yes, it looks free, but it's fragile. Now let's talk about something deeper. Delayed gratification. Now you've probably heard of the marshmallow experiment. Kids were given one marshmallow or told that they could wait to get two. Some ate it instantly, some waited. Years later, the kids who waited had better outcomes in multiple areas in their life. That's not magic, that's mindset. Life keeps offering you marshmallows. Scroll on TikTok or read, party or build, spend or invest, chase attention or build status. Every choice that you make compounds. Now let's talk about women, but realistically, women today are more independent than ever. They don't need provision the same way that they used to. So what do they look for? Competence, stability, ambition, leadership, and security. And a lot of men complain about high standards, but standards rise when independence rises. If you were independent, wouldn't your standards rise too? Here's the uncomfortable truth. The man who builds in silence in his 20s has more options in his 30s. The man who chases options in his 20s often has fewer in his 30s, because status of men increases with competence, and competence takes time. Let's be honest, no one respects the 35-year-old who still lives like he's 21, but everyone respects the 35-year-old who really built something for himself. Now, I'm not saying isolate yourself. I'm not saying that you should never date, that you should never travel, and that you should never relax. That's extreme. All I'm saying is prioritize. If something consistently drains your time and doesn't build your future, cut it, remove it from your life. If talking to 5 different people every day takes up 3 hours of your day and of your focus, that's expensive. That's a lot of time wasted. If partying every weekend is killing your mornings, that's expensive. Remove it from your life. If you're hungover more than you're productive, that's expensive. And the currency is not just money, it's momentum. Momentum in your 20s is everything, because your energy is at its highest, your recovery is at its fastest, and your risk tolerance is at its strongest. Your 20s are your construction years, your 30s are your expansion years, and your 40s are your enjoyment years. Most men reverse that. They enjoy first and they panic later. Now let me tell you something personal. The early grind feels lonely. You will often feel misunderstood. Your friends will be like, bro, just chill. Why are you always working? You're doing too much. Just take it on the chin. They're not wrong. They just don't see your horizon. So just toughen up. They're zoomed into short-term thinking and not thinking about the long-term future. It's just different lenses. And here's something that most men don't realize. Short-term fun is loud. Long-term building is quiet. Nobody will clap for discipline. Nobody celebrates you being home. Nobody posts about the nights that you study studied instead of going out, the nights that you decided to work instead of going out. But one day they'll see the results, and when they all say that you're lucky, luck is just compound discipline. Now let's talk about sacrifice. Sacrifice doesn't mean suffering forever. It means strategic reaction. You're choosing future freedom over present comfort. There's power in that. Think about it this way. If you can control your impulses in your 20s, you can control your life in your 30s. If you cannot control your impulses, your life will control you. Bills, bosses, circumstances, and other people's decisions. That's not freedom, that's reaction. True freedom is proactive. It's building multiple income streams. It's learning new skills. It's networking intentionally. It's training your body, and it's protecting your focus. And yes, it's saying no. Saying no to things is a superpower. Now let's flip the perspective. What if you don't sacrifice? You coast, you party, you chase, and you spend. You will be 29 and you'll wake up and say to yourself that maybe I should start taking things seriously. Now you're competing with men that have been working for 7 years. That gap is heavy and it's avoidable. You don't have to be extreme. You don't have to disappear from society. You just have to be intentional. Ask yourself this question before every major decision. Will this matter in 10 years? If the answer is no, limit it. If the answer is yes, double down. And here's the final shift. Sacrificing your 20s isn't about money. It's about leverage. Money is one form of leverage. Skills are leverage. Reputation is leverage. Your health is leverage. Your network is leverage. And your discipline is leverage. And when you have leverage, you negotiate life in power. When you don't, you negotiate life from needs. And need is weak. Now imagine yourself at 35. Which version do you want? The man who says, I wish I started earlier, or the man who says, I'm glad I did? Because regret is heavier than discipline. Discipline hurts in the moment. Regret hurts for decades. And here's the irony. When you build properly, you still get freedom in your 20s. It's just a different freedom. Freedom of growth, freedom of progress, and freedom of becoming. And trust me, that feeling is addictive. So if you're watching this and you're on your grind and you feel like you're missing out, trust me, you're not missing out. You're doing the right thing. You're investing. And one day, when you wake up without financial stress, without dependency, without limitation, sacrifice is temporary. Freedom is permanent. Now, if you made it all the way through this video, drop one word in the comment section. Compound. Because that's the game. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, from Africa to the world, let's build wealth.